This is Mike Gill. What you're looking at is an index of evidence delivered to the FBI Boston office, directly to U.S. Attorney Lullen. I remind you that the U.S. Attorney prosecutes the cases that are made by the FBI. So if your corruption runs through the U.S. Attorney's offices, which it does in the state of New Hampshire and Massachusetts, you prevent prosecution. Now, look at the index of evidence. Look at the time. Look what the evidence is concerning. It concerns the network of protection that I speak of. It uncovers the drug cartel and the people who protect it. We weren't given a case number, yet they were collecting all our information. You will see a 91A that I posted and the response from Mr. Lulling, Attorney Lulling. You'll see that he didn't sign it, but had a paralegal AJ sign it. And most importantly, you'll see the very first delivery where it said unknown. That delivery was to Attorney Lullen directly in hand by myself under a video camera. There's no question. So that omission is proof. And the evidence that they sent back, as you see in this letter, says originals. They weren't originals. And in fact, that first indication of what we sent was never sent back to us at all. Now, the plan's going to be, as I've been working on it, I put a portfolio of our evidence together. Not only am I sending this information to the Office of the President and the AG Sessions, but I am sending it to each and every representative, every congressman, any news network that has been part of the questioning of the integrity of the FBI, the investigation of the FBI, because it is truly guilty of treason and protecting this corruption. And what I'm showing you here is something that I used to set up Attorney Lullen, as I did similarly to a U.S. Attorney Farley and Kakavas in New Hampshire, which is why the FBI hasn't answered that 91A, because that evidence and questioning was done under camera. This is how we catch them and make sure we deliver it to the people who are actually concerned in doing the investigation. So I'm going to read this letter to you and post it at the same time. It's important that you're my witnesses to this, and this is what Attorney Lullen's receiving. Okay. I am giving you a copy of your letter suggesting you gave us all of our originals back. That is absolutely not true, now isn't it? You, in fact, did not give us our originals back. In particular, original evidence that was involved in the criminality and the corruption with the TITCA, the criminal division of the IRS. Along with the IRS, we gave you a FedEx envelope that was addressed to us by Curtis Morley that was full of IRS communications for a period of years that was sealed and never opened. However, as you know, Curtis Morley was never hired by me, but later was found out to be related to Tom Morley, the TITCA agent handling my case against the IRS. You were also given a recording of a conversation with Tom Morley and the head of TITCA, Agent Tim Campus. Upon receiving this envelope, I called Tom Morley, told him what I received, then questioned him on his relationship with Curtis Morley, at which Tom stated he had no longer speak to me anymore and refused to tell me he was related to Curtis or not. I want you to understand that I had given Tom Morley evidence exposing For 4 years, I was led to believe they were investigating criminally. I provided them evidence for. This evidence is conclusive. And yours, Mr. Lowings, were the originals that you did not send back upon request, as you stated in your letter. The same letter you didn't sign, but just had a paralegal initial. I believe your intention, the same design of omission that you indicated upon receiving this evidence. The IRS evidence and mail fraud, along with the corruption of Liberty Mutual working with Morris Mahoney, the same Morris Mahoney that offered me $15 million in a settlement settlement requested by Bill Shaheen, Alex Walker, president of Divine Millimat at the time, the DRA, Department of Revenue Administration, the IRS, the New Hampshire Banking Department, who are guilty of money laundering. You have all this evidence and the original still. You are protecting Bill Shaheen, who heads a corrupt network that protects the drug cartel and the money laundering scheme. This also leads us back to Senator Jean Shaheen, who, as you may know, is frequently attacking the president. You may also know that the AG was in New Hampshire, AG Sessions, saying he was going to investigate the hospitals, the treatment centers, the doctors in New Hampshire. I have direct evidence and witnesses that's been telling me this information and exposing this for some time. To further indicate the danger of the originals to the IRS and TICA, you might remember Tom Morley forgot to hang up the phone and had switched lines to call Kim Campus, the head of the TICA. Tom proceeded to explain to him, as we recorded, I told Gil nothing. I gave Gil nothing. Furthermore, went on to say he had a mole in my company. This was in fact true. We did have a mole by the name of Brian Toomey. He was my vice president of my company. We found emails between Curtis Morley and Brian Toomey confirming this. All the above were originals. We want them back immediately. Furthermore, to seal the fact that your envelopes in this cover-up, your office has indicated each time when evidence had been delivered, except for the time we delivered these originals, that I handed you and delivered to you directly, Mr. Lowing. I also brought a witness. I photographed all the originals. I videotaped our meeting. I never trusted you or U.S. Attorney's Office in Massachusetts or New Hampshire. These originals incriminate Bill Shaheen. Several law firms. This evidence has uncovered a criminal network of protection for the corrupt and the courts they use and the judges they've affected. There would have been no excuse for Liberty Mutual, their insurer, as they represented all entities being sued, and my own attorneys, Morris Mahoney, who claimed to represent me, but also was corrupt. You purposely didn't investigate. You're aware of this corruption ongoing, that even now protects a drug cartel. The evidence regarding the IRS proves that Senator Jean Shaheen and her husband Bill uses the IRS as an extortion arm for this corruption. So you, Mr. Lowing, took this evidence, did not sign this letter indicating we received our originals. It slipped your mind the time and date we personally received these originals from my hand to your hand. I am sending the index of evidence you have sent us back, a copy of the video of us delivering this evidence to you directly, a photograph copy of the physical evidence, and your own index of what was originally hand-delivered to you by me in the courthouse in Boston, to the office to the president, to the AG's office in Washington, directed to AG Sessions. But further, I am sending this to every representative and congressman who are either questioning or investigating the FBI. For instance, Mr. Gowdy, along with any investigative reporter and news agency who questions the ethics of the FBI. In closing, I will reiterate that I am expecting, want, and need those originals back, as you are very clearly not investigating. I left this evidence in your hands, quite literally, Mr. Lelling. Something I did with clear intention to set you up and expose the corruption within the FBI. You are all guilty of treason to the people of this country, Mike Gill. And lastly, to the followers of State of Corruption. Many of you know they've closed down State of Corruption because we are exposing the corrupt, including the FBI. What you'll see is an attachment, a video of the evidence that we brought Mr. Lelling, the day we brought it to Mr. Lelling, and we in front of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Boston. Again, you were my witnesses. Things are coming together. If you notice that the FBI at the highest level are under investigation, this is part of this corruption. This is what's going on. And we're cutting the head off this snake. And I'm going to do everything in my power to help them cut this head off.
Mike Gill's State of Corruption. You didn't think I quit, did you? You know, if you don't hear from me, it means I'm dead. All right. I'm going to give you our next move. Just before I do that, I'm going to tell you where we are, okay, and what we're doing. And then I'll give you our next move. I'm in front of the Joe Mobley courthouse. This is where they prosecuted Whitey Bulger, right? Now, what did Whitey Bulger say? He didn't say he wasn't a murderer. He didn't say he wasn't a drug dealer or an extortionist. What he did say, because he was working with the FBI, he was working with the cops, and that's why they didn't want to talk to him. What makes you think things are different now? I'm telling you, they're worse. The people that I've uncovered makes Whitey Bulger look like a Girl Scout, all right? So, you've seen me have to disappear. That's because they had every lawyer, they had every paralegal. Greg Fedor, right? He's been my paralegal this time and working with me. He was always working with the drug cartel. You know what he did in front of a witness? He turned around and had a dream. That's right, in front of a witness, that he had 9 subpoenas that he had put into Brentwood. 5 state troopers, a state attorney, and more importantly, Judge Wedgeling, who's a judge at Brentwood. Turns out, in this dream, he believed that he filed those. He also said, in the same dream, these had conversations with Aaron Day. But guess what? I asked him, I go, did they actually happen or are you just dreaming? He goes, no. Here they are, the subpoenas for Brentwood. 5 state troopers. 1 judge, Judge Wedgeling, who's the prosecutor at Agnos. He buried them. It wasn't a dream. He did it, and I have them. Now, you don't have to guess. He was working with Aaron the whole time. Think about this. The FBI told me on an audio tape and on video that we can get a 91A from that said Greg was alone. So when did the FBI ever help us? I'll tell you when they didn't want to be connected to conspiracy. That's when. You see this $274 million? Guess what? That's a performance for you on the level of their innocence. It was all fraud. When I told you they were bringing these drugs in, bringing them out of the hospitals, right? We only had Delana have an 18-wheeler full of drugs, fentanyl. And they said, good doctors, bad doctors? Wake up. Where did Alex Walker come from? The Catholic Medical Center. Where did Kakavas, Dartmouth? What is Agnos home? Besides the treatment centers, the Elliott Hospital. Wake up. And that's what's going down. Now, here's our next move. The U.S. Attorney in Massachusetts is upstairs. Lenny, and this U.S. Attorney has just been appointed and nominated by President Trump. All right? So let's keep this simple, and let's keep it right to Massachusetts. I told you they offered me $50 million on the list, right? It was from Morris Mahoney, who was acting corruptly. They represented Liberty Mutual. These people were met. Walker and Shaheen was represented by Liberty Mutual. Are you understanding this? It was insurance fraud to cover up their criminality from the beginning. I mean, how big is Liberty Mutual? They were bringing in corrupt attorneys, paralegals to pay them. That's why they offered me $50 million and I wouldn't give them the releases. And then they tried to murder me 3 different times. And Greg Fedor, he also has 2 witnesses that came in, a father and son, one of which is a drug dealer for Aganos, who said there's a contract all my life right now, which is why I could live in hiding. But I'm not quitting. All right, now think about this. We give them that information on Liberty Mutual. You can go to your phone right now. You ready? Let's do this. Liberty Mutual, Morris Mahoney. And you see how many cases they represented them. It is fraud, and there's no misunderstanding. I am giving that to the U.S. Attorney in Mass. Morris Mahoney's 300 yards that way, all right? Now what else we're giving them is the IRS, the Boston office, with Accountant Cohen from Boston, with Levine and Curtis Morley from Wilbur, okay? Where the IRS has been leveraging for my silence, for the same Shaheen, same Bill Shaheen, same Alex Walker. We have their mailings. There's no question. In fact, you know, in his dream sequence that Greg had, he said the IRS is going to pay you millions. Really? How did he know that? This is the guy we have on tape. And he said there was a mole in my office. Remember? Tom Morley? And the accountant, Curtis Morley. You don't think they're related. When we brought it up to Tom, because the head of TITCA, Tim Campus, forgets to hang up the phone. Remember? We've included that, the mole. So there's no disputing it. And every piece is in Massachusetts. So the plan is to take this corruption that's been protected in New Hampshire and open this up with a new U.S. attorney in Massachusetts. I have evidence by one of my witnesses and lawyers at the time, Maria Sudo, who claimed that Carmen Ortiz, the previous U.S. attorney, was working corruptly and stopped the investigation. Now, President Trump, you've nominated this gentleman. Let's put him to the test, right? If you investigate this and you look at the list, let's think. I've got 9 different courts leveraging him in New Hampshire. Take his business, 274 with the drug dealers. Let's look at this. Shaheen wanted to release. How was he representing the drug dealers? The DRA threatened to take the properties. They're on here for a release. Walker's here for a release. The IRS is here for a release. Now every piece of leverage, Wiggins and Norrie with Judge Anderson for a release. You get it? When I didn't take their money, they used every piece that they had to leverage me. Now, if we open these doors with the Massachusetts U.S. Attorney, it goes back to saying, well, how did you represent him? How are you suing him now? You got it? So if everything is questioned, it has to be investigated. What do you get? The drug cartels? The fraud with the IRS? The fraud with Liberty Mutual? You understand? The umbrella that these people offer, like Bill Shaheen and Walker, is protection. The same protection they give the insurers, the pharmaceutical companies, who are all cheating us, they give to the drug dealers. You see, it was the drug dealers that brought these people out again. The same people who offered me $50 million from Liberty Mutual. So let's put this to the test. I'm going and dropping off this evidence, completely conclusive, with witnesses, to the U.S. Attorney. Let's hope I come back out. package delivered to U.S. Attorney Lullen and explained on all the pieces, okay? Including the cover-up, including the drug distributor. So there is no question. Now what I'm going to ask you to do, and we'll put the number in the description, is you call the U.S. Attorney. You call Andrew Lullen, and you say, we want this investigated. I am telling you, we could bring down the criminality in the IRS, the insurance fraud that's going across this country, and the drug cartels. They're not just working out of the hospitals in my state. They're working in all these states. This had organized crime. This had murder for hire. They accepted it. They have it. They're forced to investigate. Trump's administration told me to give it to this gentleman. He has just been nominated by Trump, okay? And I told him the people that sent me there to qualify what we're saying. Now I need you. I need you to call. I need you to demand an investigation across this country. We are going to flip a domino that's going to have a major effects across this country. This is why we have the worst heroin and drug deaths in the history of our country. People under the age of 50, the leading cause of death is drugs. You get it? These hospitals are making drug addicts. Okay, Mike Gill, and listen, I don't quit. I ain't going away. I gotta be a little careful because there's a standing contract on my life. Right, Greg? You knew the father and son that came in, and you had to give these bastards their names. So not only am I in hiding, they have to be in hiding too. the thing. The guys I'm saying they're selling drugs on the lot in Nashua.
I know that they're selling everywhere.
But
I can do it by for you in 30 seconds.
the thing with
I
this,
can do it by for you in 30 seconds.
the thing with this, that general manager there, what's his name again? Sequoias.
He's not the general manager. He's the VP.
VP, right. How about this? Have you heard of, does he work with Aganos? Have you seen Aganos or know a connection?
Okay, here's the deal. The only thing that you said that was wrong was that you said George was a New Hampshire boy. He's not. He's from New York.
No, I know. And I knew he was from New York, but lives in Bedford.
Yeah. George is in bed with Dick Agnos and Jared Saunders, okay? Jared Saunders ain't got a pot to piss in. He ain't got a pot to piss in. He's a raging drug addict, scumbag, loser.
I was told the same thing.
Okay, and this is the truth. He's a loser, con artist, drug scumbag. I could walk into Auto Fair Nashua right now and buy an ounce of cocaine in 3 seconds off any sales. I can buy perks, I can buy heroin, I can buy whatever the fuck you want. And you know who knows it? George Sahoyas. You know why? Because he gets a piece of it.
I know.
He gets a piece of it. Let me tell you something. Me personally?
Yeah.
I gotta walk away and tell you this.
Yeah.
I have been in his house smoking cocaine. So.
Who? Sequoias?
Yeah. I've been in his house, and I'm a street guy. I went to jail. I used to hurt people for a living. And you know what's funny? Long time ago, when I don't get involved in politics, they wanted me to hurt you. And I'm like, I'm not fucking doing that. It's New Hampshire. You had gotten arrested or something, and somebody's like, hey, listen, how much to fucking kind of make this guy go away? I'm all set. I'm all set. I got out of jail a long time ago. I have a child.
They've tried to kill me 3 times.
Yeah, they're a bunch of idiots.
3 times. Once in jail.
I did not give him back. In one capacity, he told me about something like a memo, email.
Good times, Tim. This is going to be your case. I'm going to call him, Chris, and I'm going to tell him, like, we have a plan. We have an undercover interview.